Hi, my name is Dr. Kate Bocella Paris, and I'm one of the school psychologists up at the senior high school in the Abington School District. And today I want to discuss how to strengthen executive functioning skills for improved student success. So, what are executive functioning skills? Overall, they consist of a variety of mental skills that are responsible for cueing and directing behaviors to accomplish day to day routines and engage in goal directed behavior. They're basically the skills required to regulate behavior and accomplish your goals. So, the development of executive functioning skills. Functioning skill deficits can be associated with ADHD. However, all children can and do vary in the development of executive functioning skills with or without a clinical diagnosis of ADHD. It is common for there to be a pattern of executive functioning strengths and weaknesses. It is a typical part of the human development, and children typically don't complete growing their executive functioning skills until the age of approximately 25. So what exactly are executive functioning skills? They are defined here. They are the skills that help you achieve goals. These definitions are from Dr. Peg Dawson and Richard Guare. But it's generally understood that executive functioning skills are the actions we need to accomplish our goals. And by breaking them down and defining them, we can identify where a child's having difficulty and where they're demonstrating strength. So, real quickly, we're going to go through them. One executive functioning skill is inhibition, the ability to stop one's own behavior at an appropriate time, including stopping actions and thoughts. Emotional control is the ability to modulate emotional responses by bringing rational thought to bear on feelings. Initiation, the ability to begin a task or activity and to independently generate ideas, responses, or problem solving strategies. Working memory, the capacity to hold multiple pieces of information in your mind for the purpose of completing a task. Planning and prioritizing is the ability to manage current and future oriented task demands. Organization, the ability to impose order on work, play, and storage spaces. Sustained attention is the ability to avoid distractions and persist with tasks until completion. Time management is the capacity to estimate how much time one has and how to allocate it to stay within time limits and deadlines. Flexibility is the ability to revise places in the face of obstacles, mistakes, or setbacks. Metacognition is the ability to self-monitor and evaluate your skills. And goal-directed persistence, the capacity to have a goal and to follow through with the completion of the goal. So when students don't have consistently strong executive functioning skills, we may say they have some executive dysfunction. And executive dysfunction can look like losing things frequently, may work inefficiently, emotionally fragile or scattered, reacting impulsively, poor problem solving skills, disorganized and struggles to meet deadlines, and limited motivation to meet their goals. Executive functioning skill strengthening. There's 5 general areas you can work on to help your child create an environment and create internal problem solving strategies to help strengthen their executive functioning skills. These 5 general areas are self awareness, self monitor, structured environment and structured time, positive reinforcement, and identify intrinsic motivational factors. I have a brain lifting weights here because just like you lift weights to strengthen your body, you have to strengthen your executive functioning skills as well if you want to grow them. So it's really important to engage in these exercises if you want your child to strengthen their executive functioning skills and meet more of their goals. So the first one, increase awareness, specifically self-awareness. Provide students with concrete examples of their behavior and how it affects themselves and others. Engage in direct discussions with students to increase awareness of their executive functioning strengths and their weaknesses. And give explanations for your rules. This teaches your child that why they should be doing specific things. So giving concrete examples may look like, instead of saying, pay attention, maybe you could say, I noticed that you want to get your homework done by 6 o'clock tonight, but you're looking away from your homework and, I don't see you sustaining attention to it and initiating the work in order to get it done by your goal. What are some strategies we can employ to help you reach that goal? So, giving concrete examples that help them reach their goal, and then figuring out the specific executive functioning skills that may be lagging that they can help, strengthen. A model appropriate use of executive functioning skills. So, as you can see in this picture, children will mimic their parents. So it's really important to implement, executive functioning skills and demonstrate how you want your children to act if, you want their behavior to change. So, if you're scrolling on your phone a lot, the phone is a distraction, you may want to limit your own screen time in order to help children monitor and modulate their own screen time. Verbal mediation. So this is like a problem solving strategy, but it also helps with self awareness. So model the use of verbal mediation strategies by talking through a problem out loud. Describe your thought process and strategies implemented. Describe obstacles and how to overcome them, and ask your child for their opinion when working through an issue. This can be as for big or small tasks, something as simple as, oh, I have to go grocery shopping and make dinner. Okay, well, are we going to make a checklist of all the things we need to make dinner? Are we going to look up a recipe beforehand? Are we, going to manage the specific amount of money we want to spend on groceries? Or do we have a specific amount of time we want to spend grocery shopping and then getting back to make dinner in time? And there's, so many steps along the way to reach these goals we just implement in our lives that children don't really think about. So just open-ended questions and walking them through the steps that you use to accomplish your goals will be really helpful for them when, they engage in their own problem-solving strategies. Self-monitor teaching routines. So this is another helpful strategy for students to monitor their executive functioning skills. It's really important for kids with executive dysfunction to have a daily agenda. This helps them to complete academic assignments, chores, extracurricular activities, and self-care activities. For students who really struggle, not only do they want a daily agenda, but they should break down the specific assignments and chores into manageable components. So have students predict the amount of time it would take to complete each component, and then have them do it, check back with them, and see if they were right or wrong. A lot of times, students overestimate how much time it takes to complete a task, so it prevents them from wanting to initiate at all. So having students engage in those broken down components of each task and figuring out how much time it actually takes to complete an activity helps them plan for the future, but also helps them initiate. Provide visual aids for students to complete the manageable components. So a checklist with step-by-step instructions, or a problem-solving troubleshooting list. If you aren't sure what to do, who do you ask? Who can you call? Can you finish some smaller task first and then go back? Just troubleshooting. And practice planning for the upcoming assignments. Another self-monitoring strategy is to teach the use of internal feedback. So positive self-talk strategies help students cope and persevere through stressful situations. This helps kids with emotional regulation and perseverance. Parents may need to monitor self-talk statements and encourage students to generate more positive self-talk. So just ask your child, what are you thinking right now? Like, what's going through your mind? A lot of times students may say, I can't do it. It'll take forever. I'd rather play video games. It's not worth it. Why bother? We want to stop them from, defaulting into that negative pattern and replace those thoughts with more positive self-talk. And to do that, you really need to demonstrate and, be a role model to them. So some things you could say is, I can do the easy problems first. If I get stuck, I can get help. It's okay to make a mistake. Or I haven't learned this yet. Instead of saying something like, I can't do it. So, really monitor your child's self-talk and keep checking in with them and making sure you're giving them plenty of positive self-talk and things to replace that negative self-talk with. So reinforcement is extremely important when changing behavior. But when we want children to become more independent, it's great to have them self-administer their rewards. So get them pumped about completing 20 minutes of math homework, and then they can earn their snack, or 20 minutes of math homework and then you earn 5-minute brain break. Um, have the child set the goal though. Have them identify what they want and then work towards achieving the reward that they want as well. Brain breaks, snacks, stretching, exercise, or even a 5-minute video game break. Whatever it is that will motivate them to get through that initial um, difficulty with starting the task is a great way to start, um, you know, improving these executive functioning skills. Implement appropriate consequences. So, talk about natural consequences with your child. For example, if you've noticed your child not doing homework, this will most likely, lead to poor grades. Um, Talk about it with them. Homework has its impact on your academic performance. I've noticed you're not turning in your homework. Is there, the natural consequence of that is the poor grade. Do you have a goal to achieve a better grade in that class? How can we wind it back and change your behavior so that that consequence doesn't happen again? The natural consequences conversations can be tough, but they're great lessons to learn from. Logical consequence work better for some kids. Just working through their, difficulties and figuring out how you can implement different antecedent strategies to help prevent those consequences. So, for example, a child who has a hard time getting up in the morning may need an earlier bedtime. A child who is having a hard time falling asleep because they're on their phone may need an adult to supervise or hold on to their phone for the evening. So there's different, strategies you can work on for kids if they're falling into these negative consequences for some behaviors that aren't helpful. And try to avoid power struggles when reviewing these consequences. So instead of engaging in, you have to do this, you have to give me your phone, try to do a collaborative problem solving approach. We are a team. We want to achieve your goals. Your goal is to get good grades this semester. To do that, you need to get to school on time. Your phone is preventing you from getting to school on time because you're not able to fall asleep. How can we get the phone in check? How can we, get through that obstacle together so that you can reach your goals? Do you want me to hold on to your phone? Do you want to turn your phone off for the evening? Let's have some solutions that you can pick from, but I need to coach you through this because you're not achieving your goal right now. And that really helps kids with executive dysfunction kind of figuring out where the weakness lies and working with an adult to change their behavior and strengthen that skill. And explain negative consequences. Allow your child to choose from different negative consequences if applicable. Structure the environment. So carefully structure your child's environment to reduce the demands for frequent use of self-discipline. You're going to want to have distractions away, have a specific homework area, establish routines to help child modulate intensity of functioning in this area. After school activities, homework time, bath time, preparation for next day. That should all be written out on a visual aid for your child to know exactly when, they're supposed to be flexible and where they have to kind of persevere through a task to get to their next task to be successful for the next day. So you're going to want to, structure that environment with your child to lead to success. You're also going to want to structure time, and that goes hand in hand with structuring your environment. So provide aids for time management, like with the schedules, you're going to want to have it broken down into time components, uses of clocks and timers to self-monitor, how much time they've spent on one task. Is it time to switch to the next task? And have students monitor their use of time to identify areas of weakness or patterns in behavior. They may say, oh, I spent 20 minutes on math, now time for a video game. But in actuality, they're spending 5 minutes on math and a lot more time on the video games. Time them, just say, hey, let's time your math, let's time your homework time, and let's time your video game time. Let's see if it's working out for you. If it's not, something's got to change. So help them really understand how much time they're allocating on each task, and that will help them, kind of have a better idea of where they need to change that behavior. And then motivation. Motivation is huge for kids trying to change their behavior. We need to make school valuable to the specific child, and to do that, they need to identify their goals. So, helping a child recognize their own goals is crucial to have them be successful in their day to day academic tasks. Um, it gives them meaning, it gives them purpose. So, as early as you can, start identifying long term goals with your child. Expose your child to various career paths, colleges, areas of interest. Anything that can help make academics more meaningful to them will help them want to put more energy and time into improving their executive functioning skills to become more successful in school. So, those are the 5 general areas where you'll want to focus on during homework time, free time at home, preparing for school to get your kids' executive functioning skills strengthened. So, self awareness, really identifying where things are going well and where things are not going too well, self monitoring behaviors, structured time and structure your environment, positive reinforcement, and identifying intrinsic motivational factors. All right. Well, that is the presentation on executive functioning skills. I hope you find some tips helpful. Again, I'm Dr. Bocella Paris, and I hope you all have some good luck with these strategies, and hopefully you'll see your kids start feeling more successful and have better self-esteem if they start implementing these more structured routines and strategies.